Brian Chan's Ruby-Eyed Leech is a deadly leech pattern. It's no surprise that it's one of the most popular sellers on our online Stillwater fly fishing store. Here are the materials you will need to tie this Stillwater favorite. So let's tie the Ruby-Eyed Leech, one of my good friend Brian Chan's favorite leech patterns. A deadly little pattern tied in a variety of colors. We're going to do a black-red variation today. Into the jaws of my Regal, I've placed a Mustad R74 9672 number 8 streamer hook. And then onto that hook I have slid a 1/8 brass cone that I get from Canadian Llama. Great online supplier of beads and cones and all things in that nature. And then I've also slid on an 8/0 red bead, a ruby red colored bead. So we push those all forward and then attach our black 70 denier tying thread directly behind the ruby bead to push everything forward. We get that tied in, trim our thread away. Come back forward again and just push that right there. The body will do that too. We just get that push forward and then move the tying thread down to the base of the hook. Sorry, the bend of the hook, just before it falls off. Now, for the tail you could use black marabou, black rabbit, but you can also make a very effective fly, and Brian does this a lot, out of dubbing. So I've just taken a pinch of the Arizona Simi Seal in color number 3 there, black and red. And I've just taken a pinch, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it apart and sort of lay it on top of each other to sort of hand stack it, if you will. Just pull this out and it evens up the fibers. I'm going to remove a little bit just for bulk, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to grip it at about the midpoint of the dubbing, lay that onto the shank, 2 to 3 thread turns, and you can see I've got approximately the same amount of dubbing forward and aft of the tying point. And we'll put a couple extra wraps, and I'm going to take this dubbing clump and fold it back over and lock it in place to form a dubbed tail. Just secure that in there nice and tight, and you can see we've got a nice ragged looking dub tail. It's going to blend nicely with the body, about half the shank length long, nice and tapered to it, just like that. Now we're going to bring our tying thread forward. Now we're going to form a dubbing loop. So I'm going to pull down about 4 inches of tying thread, wrap it around my forefinger, bring that straight back up to where I pulled down from, start winding the thread backwards, and then rotate the dubbing loop to the top side of the hook and secure that all the way down to the base of the tail. And this obviously forms the loop, but it also takes our thread strands and gets them nice and close together so it'll hold and pinch that dubbing in place. I'm going to put my dubbing twister in here. I love using this cowbird style dubbing twister, but you can use whatever style you're comfortable with. Place that into the dubbing loop, and then I'm going to take my black and red Arizona Simi Seal and just take a sparse pinch, open the loop at the bottom, use my thumb and forefinger to spread it, and you can see I'm putting it in there so the fibers are approximately running horizontal to the loop, not parallel. And just push that up into position and repeat this process until the loop is loaded. So open the loop at the bottom, slide the material in up adjacent to the previous clump, and just continue to do this until I've loaded the dubbing loop up nice and even. And again, you're trying to get that parallel look so that it flows back. Again, once it's in, you can kind of massage it a little bit with your thumb and forefinger and pull it all apart. These Simi Seal blends that John Romer does are just excellent materials for many Stillwater applications, and Brian and I particularly like to use them on our leech patterns. This mohair blends work very, very well. So there the loop is loaded. It's nice and relatively even. We start twisting slowly. Make sure we don't twist too fast and accidentally throw some of the material out. and I continue to spin until that dubbing starts to radiate out 90 degrees to the dubbing loop. So we're fine there. This dubbing loop is nice and tight. You can see the fibers radiate 90 degrees. To help further get the dubbing strands that have been perhaps trapped in by the stripping process, I'm going to take my piece of Velcro, in this case attached to the back of a toothbrush, and just give the fly a brush. This helps trap any fibers that become wrapped around the thread during the formation of the dubbing loop. Once I'm happy with that, I can just rotate this around and we're ready to start wrapping the dubbing loop. So with the dubbing loop formed, we're ready to wrap it forward and get to work on finishing this fly. So I'm just going to start rotating the dubbing loop around, place the first wraps right at the base of the tail, and use my left thumb and forefinger to sweep back the fibers so they flow back along the fly to help suggest the thin, slender profile of the natural leech this fly is designed to imitate. And again, I'm just using my fingers, you can see, to preen and push these fibers back. We're going to give this fly another brushing as well. And then we're going to style the dubbing. I'll show you how to do that. Just one wrap right next door to the other, trying to build a nice uniform, slender profile. Come right up. Just knocking that bobbin out of the way. And we're going to push this right tight against the bead to make sure that our bead and our cone are pushed tight up against the hook eye. Whoops, slipped out there. No big deal. We're finished anyway. Just going to bring this up, sort of zigzag the thread through. 2 over top, 1 in front, 2 in front to lock off, and trim away our excess dubbing material. And then we're going to put a little crazy glue, brushable crazy glue, onto the tying thread, because if I try and put my adhesive, my super glue in this case, in there and dab it in, I'm most likely going to trap down and mat a whole pile of dubbing fibers down. We don't want to do that. We're going to let the thread carry that super glue right into the tie-off area to secure it. Now all it's left to do is a whip finish, and the tying portion of the fly is complete. Trim that away, and then we're going to give this a brush to loosen any fibers that were trapped down during the formation of the body on 4 sides. Just give it an aggressive, use the bristles of the toothbrush work well. That's one of the benefits of brushing your dubbing loop prior to winding it, if you've got a really long strand like I've got there. And then the next process, which I'll show you, is how to style this fly to get it flowing even better and take some of the memory out of those dubbing fibers. So let's style our fly. I've taken it out of the Regal, placed it in my hackle pliers, hemostats, whatever you like, and I've got a glass of water here. I've put in the microwave and I've nuked it to near boiling. And we're just going to take our fly, dip it in, get it saturated, and the temperature, the warm temperature of the water is going to take all the memory out of our, and you can see how that styles and makes it look beautiful and slender. So there you have it, the finished, styled, ruby-eyed leech, black and red. You can tie this in a myriad of colors. It's an excellent Stillwater leech pattern. Brian has come up with a real winner here, and it really performs well in this formation. You can also tie this balanced as well, but when you're going on a lake, make sure you have a number of these in your Stillwater fly box. For more information on fly fishing, and Stillwater fly fishing in particular, please visit my website at flycraftangling.com. Here you'll find lots of information, including fly fishing tips, fly patterns, articles, dates on my seminars and schools, along with links to my blog and mine and Brian Chan's online Stillwater fly fishing shop. You can also visit our store directly at stillwaterflyfishingstore.com. Please join the conversation on my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter. Thanks for watching, and please take the time to watch my other tying videos as well.